G'day Warbanders, and welcome back to another game of Eagle Day to Bombing the Reich, the Gary Grisby game. And yeah, this is a new multiplayer game I'm having with another opponent. We're both keen to see this to the end. This is the biggest sort of campaign I think you can get in the game, probably the second biggest. 622 turns. It is the 18th of September 1943, and we are ready to begin. Oh, this is the second turn, but I didn't record the first turn because the first turn was basically just recon spam and a couple of raids, but nothing too major. But today is a big day. It might not be a big day because we have lots of cloud cover today. The game says 58% chance of overcast, and the cloud's going to be at 7,000 feet to 12,800 feet. So this might be a difficult to pull off with the raids. I'm hoping it will go well. So this is our motion of attack, or where our bomber streams are going to go. Ignore the yellow lines. That's basically just recon. And if you don't know what this game is, if you're just first tuning in, this is a bombing simulator, a strategic bombing simulator where you control the air force of either the Allied forces and the Axis forces. And we're playing as the Allied forces, or the Allied Bombing Command, in 1943 against the Axis. And our goal is to basically disrupt the industry of the Axis forces. And we have multiple targets to hit. Each with their own sort of bonuses and production. Everything feeds into each other, these targets, and we gotta pick and choose which is the ones to focus on, which ones are dangerous and that we can't touch, and all sorts of things. I've elected for a strategy of sort of attacking the Ruhr, attacking Western Germany, sussing out Hamburg a bit because it is damaged. At the start of the game, a lot of targets are pre-damaged to represent sort of the earlier bombing campaigns, and Hamburg is bombed to hell, but there's still some juicy targets there that have like 33% damage. So I'm thinking for my next turn I might bomb Hamburg just to throw him off track, because this is against a human opponent, so he may adjust. I know full well that he's going to defend against me in the Ruhr region, and it's hard for me not to ignore the Ruhr region. Historically, this place was the home of German industry for a long time, and I think it still is, I'm not sure. But I will have to come into this area because it's just too juicy to ignore. And sort of my targets are, probably going to be rubber, because his rubber industry is already 27% damaged, which is pretty significant. And these recon reports, they might be wrong, but even a lower estimate, this is fine. And another target I want to go after is oil. I already done like 18% damage, and as you can see, there are some targets to hit in the area. Again, this will be a harder target, but we can hit them with some probably long penetration raids. Maybe some we can do daylight bombing. I think what we agreed to for a house rule is that we can't do night bombing in 1943, because in the last I already did this turn, but we had to restart on turn 2 because we found out that night bombing, or attacking installations at night with huge bombing streams, like, it was just too overpowered. Like, I got his rubber industry to like 70%, and when you get your critical industries to those levels, it's hard to produce planes. And he sort of was like, oh, if you keep this up with like 70% damage on my rubber, I don't think I'll be able to survive to the end of the year, because it's that dangerous. Night bombing, I think it's sort of an exploit. So I agreed not to do night bombing till like 1944, because that's historically what happened. Like, the bomber command, or the British bomber command, was mainly doing terror bombing. So I'm going to stick to the terror bombing sort of doctrine instead of just precisionally hitting factories at night. because it's just too overpowered. That's the only quirk of this game, or an exploit, I think. But yeah, we'll start reviewing our bomber raids. Oh, also an overview of the Italian theater. We are doing some low-level bombing, hitting some radar stations just to carve a path. Hit those airfields that are really close to us because they house a lot of fighters. My recon has come back to me saying there are like 40 fighters here, 66 fighters here, and 40 fighters. But I'm not really that concerned about the fighter coverage here because the Italian fighters are really dog shit in this game. They cannot stand up against our own fighters, and we will basically have air superiority here. So I'm taking full advantage of that fact, and I'm going to be bombing Naples and Rome. But we have limited resources in the Italian region. We only have like 100 or so B-17 flying fortresses here. Let me just see if I can find it. It's in the bomber section. Yeah, this one. So I've sent around 630, 127 bomber group of B-17 flying fortresses with 141 fighters. That's probably a bit too many fighters. So I don't expect much resistance in bombing Naples, and that is an oil facility. Again, I feel like we're going to get a lot of free points by bombing Italy because the aircraft here are just trash, and we'll be able to just take over basically. And when the ground invasion starts, I think we'll be able to win this theater very easily. We'll see what happens. I'm pretty sure we will, but and I'm not like initially I was bombing France a bit, but I thought, I won't get that many points for it, like terror points. I actually don't get any terror points for bombing Paris at all, but I will bomb his aircraft factories and chemistry factories because they do have some capacity. This chemistry factory, for example, here has 8 capacity, which is pretty substantial. So I'm going to be I'm not going after it now, but later on when I've had my feel here and he sort of adjusted to me, I think I'll switch tack and attack in different places. Because again, key tip guys, do not attack in the same place over and over again. It's only justified if there's high capacity targets, because you can take the losses. Because if we look at our campaign summary, oh no, which one is it? Shit. Is it campaign summary? I'm not sure. Review, is it? No. I'm trying to find how many planes we have right now. I don't know. List air units. That's right. Here we go. So if we go to show bombers, we have so many bombers, it's kind of crazy. We have these Baltimores, we have Marauders, these are medium bombers, and we have 326 B-17 flying fortresses, and that is insane. And I'd be surprised if we lose all of those 300 planes in this campaign. Playing as the Allies is no joke. My opponent says a main problem for my faction is basically they run out of pilots, but we'll see what happens. I expect losses in these raids. I really do, because I feel like he's adjusted here because he knows that the raw region is very big, so he's going to be positioning some fighters there. But I'm ready. We'll have a look. So look at our biggest raids right now. So my biggest raid in daylight is at around 7 o'clock. It's about 192 flying fortresses with 200 aircraft escorting those, in 2 parts, one on the entry and the one on the exit. So 100 on each side. That should be relatively safe. I might lose a couple of bombers and then there might be a big scrap, but I want to be in a big scrap because I can bleed him dry basically, because I have more planes. As the attacker, I have more aircraft available to me, so I can afford to take losses. Or a 1-to-1 ratio, maybe even bigger. And then we have our night bombing, which is really important. Again, according to our house rule, we're going to be bombing these terror targets or the cities, bombing a few of the rural regions. I wanted to bomb in more central Germany, but I don't have enough recon to get photos, because if you don't have recon, you could miss the target basically. So I'm not going to take the chance and try and bomb urban targets just yet in Central Europe, but I will later. Yep, so that's just all night bombing, no escorts. I send a bunch of night fighters at the same time just to try and stop the enemy night fighters from coming after me. I've deployed some electronic countermeasures like a little bit before, just to try and create some sort of diversions. But I'm not an expert on electronic warfare. The part of this game where I'm not an expert on night bombing, but I do know that having a bunch of bombers helps. And then I have something else to talk about as well, which is I do have a diversionary raid before the bigger raids. I believe, where is it? Yes, this one, I think. So yeah, I'm just setting up like a couple of like diversionary raids like this one, like to bomb this radar station, because if I bring him out, his fighters to come after these ones, it might give him some pause. It's good to have a few diversionary raids here or there. And again, Italy, just a general strategy: gradually break down those radar stations and begin to move inland, just start bombing everything. Mainly terror targets I want to target there though. Yeah, and then we have just fighter bombers coming on the coast. That's all that is, with no escorts, because by the time they get there, they're already left. Like by the time the enemy gets there with their fighters, like I'm already gone. So there's no point giving escorts to these fighter bombers. Like sure, they might get intercepted on the way in, like if he does have some fighters there, but like they'll get out, they'll drop their load and just leave. I might lose a couple of planes there, because I did in the first turn, but that's okay. Fighter bombers really are only useful for coastal targets, I find. So it's okay to lose them, as long as they get to their target, which they always seem to do because they're super fast. We just got more bombing, and this is my night raids, and then we have just a shit ton of recon, because recon's really important in this game. Mainly just recon Hamburg, as I said before. A few targets in the rural region. And yeah, my overall strategy I think is pretty good. This will take some time to execute, because I do not have a lot of recon. That's the main limiting factor of my raids right now, is that the green highlighted areas is where I have recon, where I have photos that are like 2 days old. And as you can see, I don't have too many. I've been scouting out the airfields and trying to find out where his air force is. I can't find out where exactly he is. Oh, there's 40 fighters there, so he might try and... Well, that's good. He won't be able to intercept anything there. He might come out to fight here, but... Yeah, I'm in a process of trying to find his main force. I assume it's around here, because I've checked around here. Near Hamburg in this area, or near Bremen. Nothing there. Don't think there's anything over here. So yeah, it's also a process, as I said before my last video, is you have to try and find out where the enemy fighters are stationed, because you can keep moving them around. So I have a sneaking suspicion that his interceptors are clustered around here, and that's okay. I can take the losses. I've provided around 200 planes to defend. But yeah, guys, I think that will be the end of my sort of planning video before I execute the turn, and then I'll have a second video showing the results. Hopefully it's good. Oh, I also have some fighter sweeps just to clean up these Italian fighters that are just right next to my bases. Where is it? Here we go. I would suggest using fighter sweeps very liberally, because especially against a human, because they can be hit and miss. Like in my previous campaign, I was like, oh, they like, when they hit, you know? But yeah, I'm hoping just to kill these 40 fighters and these 60 fighters here, hoping just to get them on the ground, strafing them. With like, I have like 200 fighters going to just mow them down. Hopefully they just kill them all, but we'll see what happens. Sometimes it just doesn't happen. And yeah, main thing is just the cloud cover. Might have some raids that are bombing through cloud cover, but that's okay. Even if they do, like, they might hit an urban target and get some terror points, you know, that'll be good enough for me. But yeah, guys, that's the video. I hope you enjoy it. Again, the next video will cover the combat. And yeah, please like and subscribe if you like this sort of content. I'm only doing this for fun. I don't do it for views. So yeah, see you later. Bye.